Welcome inside the GCU softball stadium. I'm Cheyenne Rose alongside Montana Lambton, where we look to kick off the last day of the GCU Purple Classic. No games were played yesterday due to the inclement weather, so the Lopes will start the day taking on the Drake University Bulldogs as the Lopes look to get back on track and break their 6-game losing streak.
Well, Cheyenne, Grand Canyon has had not the most successful tournament this far. Lopes looking for redemption against the Bulldogs this afternoon after falling to them Friday evening with a 6-11 loss. The Bulldogs scored 3 in the third, then added another 4 runs. Lilly Bishop responded with a rocket over the center field fence in the bottom of the fourth, but we have to talk about the damage that the freshman did in this game. Kristen Fifield went 3 for 4 with the single, starting the offense late in the fifth. Then Mickey Corovio picked up her first of 2 hits in the game to get the bases loaded. The Lopes scored off of the 2 runs by also freshman Jaden Reed. Savannah Torville singled, brought in 4 runs. Lopes really tried to redeem themselves, make a comeback, but Drake responded, bringing in 4 more runs within the last 2 innings. The Lopes tried to do some more damage in Game 2 of the doubleheader against Utah State, but were shut out 7-0 for a late night 9 p.m. start. The Aggies went on a 5-0 scoring run with just the first 2 innings and then added 2 more in the fifth. Bishop, following her first game home run, went 2 for 3 at the plate, but Lopes were unable to redeem themselves.
And yeah, you're absolutely right, Montana. But let's look at this lineup here, starting for the starting for the Bulldogs. So we have the Mandy Ralmich and shortstop, Macy Johnson in center field, Libby Ryan for second base, Sarah Maddox playing first base, Emily Voltman is the DH, Delaney Taylor in right field, Laura Anderson is the catcher, and Abby Bowie for left field, and Aubrey Bitzinger playing third base here. So that's your starting lineup there for the Drake University Bulldogs. But you're absolutely right, Montana. The Lopes are looking to get back from where they want to be from somewhat of a disappointing start and having that 2-11 overall record, despite some great outings from the pitching and staff here for the Lopes. But we'll get this game started with the top of the order for Drake with the senior infielder, Mandy Ralmich. And on the mound for the Lopes, we have Denhart pitching, who pitched in the first game last night. So it's nice to see her back on the circle for the Lopes.
Well, this morning, Drake faced Utah, defeating them 8-0 due to the 5 innings run rule.
And that first pitch there is bunted there by Ralmich, and a nice 1-pitch, 1-out here start for the Lopes. Now batting second here for the Bulldogs is Macy Johnson. And that first pitch is in there for ball number 1. That pitch in for strike number 1. So now Johnson's count goes to 1-1. Drake being really aggressive in the starting of all of the games that they've played against the Lopes, going back to their first meeting back in 2019. They scored quick and early. So trying to do that again, and that hit just past the shortstop there for the Lopes. So that will allow Johnson to get a base hit to start here for her in this first game. As you see right here back on the replay. Just a nice, good piece of hitting there out past the glove of Fifield there for the Lopes.
Well, that'll bring up Libby Ryan, who went 0 for 3 this morning against Utah. Their early morning 8 a.m. start game.
That pitch from Denhart there in for strike number 1. Yeah, as you mentioned, Montana, Drake having that early game this morning, then getting a little bit of break while CSUN and Utah State played in that game that only ended up going 5 innings because of the run rule. And that went in there for a strike. And almost a collision there at second base as the runner was trying to steal. She's still down there on the bag, so hopefully she's okay. She looks like she's getting up.
Yeah, definitely a tough play there. Great efforts by Savannah Torville, but it looked like it might have cased the top of her head as we take another look here. Looks like she almost got kicked in the head. That one's got to hurt, but it looks like she's okay. Open and running.
Nice there for the Bulldogs to have her back up there. Now Libby Ryan up here for the Bulldogs with that pitch from Denhart just outside. So her count goes to 1-2.
Libby Ryan is a utility junior out of Mount Vernon, Iowa. She has had a pretty high batting average this season. Second highest for her team.
And that pitch high and outside, so now her count will be even up at 2-2. So Bulldogs have a runner in a scoring position with 1 out here in the top of the first, and that one swung on. A nice catch there by the Lopes center fielder, Mickey Gavarubio. And so that will record out number 2. So Lopes trying to get out of this top of the first, and let's take another look at that. A nice piece of hitting there by Ryan, but able to keep that, get that ball and to record that second out.
Well, that'll bring up Sarah Maddox.
And that hurt the first pitch to Maddox.
She's the infield senior from Henderson, Nevada.
There, and that was a good pitch called for strike number 1. And that pitch hit high and far to the left field wall. But nice work there by Gianna Nicoletti to record the final out here in the top half of the first. So the Bulldogs will leave 1 on.
Let's take a look at the Sanderson Ford 3 keys to the game tonight. Defense is going to be vital as the Lopes have struggled defensively. They've done a good job keeping the ball in front of them, but have had some errors allowing runners to get on base when it should be some easy outs. After the shutout game last Friday, defense is going to be in full swing, and the second key to the game tonight is going to be freshies. So Kristen Fifield went 3 for 4, Mickey Caruvio 2 for 4. So consistency from these freshmen as we saw in the last game. It's going to be key tonight. Jaden Reed has been GCU's everyday center and right fielders along with Mickey Carubio. And then against Drake, Carubio went 2 for 4, proving she deserves that spot in the lineup. And, of course, that walk-off homer a couple weeks back at the Getterman Classic. The last key to the game tonight is going to be 1 pitch at a time. One of the challenges of softball is these double headers, so it kind of shifts the girls' focus. So coaches try to implement the fundamentals into these athletes. Win every pitch, you'll win every game. One small task, 1 pitch at a time. Well, we're going to take a look at the upcoming schedule. We'll get to that next half for you. So,
yeah, as we mentioned, Montana Drake beating Utah State earlier this morning, having that very early morning game at 8 a.m., but they were able to win it 8-0. So looking to get their second win of the day, while the Lopes are still looking to get their first win of the tournament. And as we have said previously, Lopes still trying to look to come back from this 6-game losing start. And we'll look at the Lopes starting lineup as we have Mickey Covarubio leading it off for the Lopes in center field, Jaden Reed in right field, Lilly Bishop playing first, Olivia Zufelt being the designated person, Kaylee Holland for catching, Kristen Fifield playing second, Savannah Torville as shortstop. And we will get things started here with Mickey Covarubio. And that first pitch is swung on for strike number 1 to Covarubio. And that one fouled back there by Covarubio. Lopes also have Gianna Nicoletti in infield and Kaylee Dietrich playing third base here today. So now Covarubio has an 0-2 count here in the bottom of the first for the Lopes. And that pitch is high to Covarubio, so her count moves to 1-2. And that pitch hit high to left center will be caught by the center fielder for the Bulldogs to record out number 1. And take another look at that. A nice piece of hitting there by Covarubio, just popped up a little high. And the center fielder able to get underneath it.
Well, that'll bring up the freshman right fielder, Jaden Reed.
Seen a lot more freshmen entering this lineup here for the Lopes and been doing some great things here for the Lopes offensively and defensively.
Yeah, definitely a predominantly young team as we lost a lot of key players last season. So the girls really trying to find their groove with each other still in their freshman year.
And that first pitch was a ball, and her second pitch there is a strike. So Reed's count now moves to 1-1 with 1 out here in the bottom of the first.
But I mean, this year has been a ton of growth year for all of GCU athletics all around.
That one hit and fouled back, hitting the net and coming back in play as it bounced off the top of the netting that we have here in the GCU softball stadium. So Reed's count will remain at 1-2. And that one high, so even her count out at 2-2. And that one also up high, so bringing her count full. And that will be high for ball number 4. So Reed on for a walk for the Lopes. So Lopes having now 1 on with 1 out, as that will bring Lilly Bishop up to bat for the Lopes. Bishop getting that home run yesterday against Drake in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, that home run Friday evening against the same team, so
can maybe see if history will repeat itself against Montana.
Well, the Lopes would really like that to happen. Get ahead early.
Yep, as that pitch is in for ball number 1 there from Hannah Powles. And that one hit hard, but back to that, almost that same spot as Covarubio, back to left center. So the Lilly Bishop will get out number 2 there for the Lopes, and Reed will stay at first, not having enough time to tag and try and run to second. So that will then bring up the freshman Olivia Zufelt. Zufelt also have a couple of home runs here for the Lopes. Also recorded the first home run that the Lopes had this season. And that first pitch to Zufelt in there for ball number 1. So the Lopes have 1 runner on with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. And that ball also taken up high, so now a 2-0 count here for Zufelt. These freshmen have done a lot of good things here for the Lopes as that ball is high and will get out number 2 as Reed is caught stealing. So the Lopes get that walk erase there, so they will have no one left on. And we will have the top of the second and more softball right here on GCU TV.
As a teacher, your calling was always to make a difference and positively impact the future. You live with a deep sense of purpose and strive to inspire generations of change. GCU's online Masters of Education degree program gives you the skills you need to grow and develop your career. You're not just inspiring future generations of leaders, you're giving them the tools they need to succeed.
Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu/online.
Welcome back inside the GCU softball stadium. The Lopes look to start the top of the second here. And the Bulldogs will have Voltman starting the top of the second.
Well, it's time to look at the upcoming schedule brought to you by BSN Sports, the largest provider of team sports equipment and apparel in the country. Men's basketball will return home this week. It'll be an exciting game against conference rival New Mexico State Thursday at 7. Check out our extra special pregame with a behind-the-scenes look at our broadcast starting at 6 p.m. Saturday night, men's basketball will take on UTRGV at 6 p.m. in baseball. Of course, we'll be back home on Tuesday, March 3rd to face New Mexico at 6 p.m. You can catch that all here on GCU TV.
And this pitch from Denhart is going to be in for ball number 2 for Voltman. Voltman also had a home run for Drake on Friday night. So a dangerous hitter in the lineup for the Bulldogs. And that embrace strike number 1. So Voltman's count will move to 2-1 here.
Voltman did go 2 for 3 this morning against Utah State and drove in a run. So looking to see what kind of damage she can do here as she digs in.
And that one swung on and missed. So her count will even up at 2-2. Yeah, as you mentioned, Montana Voltman trying to do some damage here for her team, and Denhart trying to keep any damage from happening for her. So it'll be a interesting battle here between the two. And that ball is down and in the dirt and gets away from Holland. So Voltman's count will move to a full count of 3-2.
And Denhart was named to the All-WAC team.
And that one hit foul, so Voltman staying alive here for the Bulldogs and giving Denhart a nice challenge.
These Drake players really working the count.
Definitely they did the same thing on Friday night, really making the GCU pitching staff work for their games. And that one, a big swing on and miss there for the Lopes to record out number 1. So Voltman will be recorded as out number 1 here in the top of the second, and that will bring up Taylor for the Bulldogs.
You gotta love to see the encouragement from Denhart's teammates down there. Love the unity that GCU softball truly has.
Definitely Montana. And that one, a big swing on in it, and that one just off the glove of Savannah Torville, so that will allow Delaney Taylor to make it safely to first. So out number 1 recorded not as quickly as in the top of the first, but then a leadoff, the second hitter gets on for the second inning in a row here for the Bulldogs. And that will bring up Laura Anderson, the catcher for the Bulldogs. And that first pitch in from Denhart is called strike number 1. So getting ahead in the count there for Denhart. And something that the Lopes have been doing fairly well is trying to get ahead in the counter, even coming back and working into those counts. And that one called strike number 2. So Denhart already ahead 0-2 here. So a nice few pitches here coming from Denhart to Anderson.
And we should expect nothing less from Denhart, the preseason pitcher of the year for the Western Athletic Conference.
And that pitch outside, so that will be ball number 1. So Anderson's count will go to 1-2. Yeah, the Lopes have some great pitching that has been used all weekend, and so far early in the season, despite their record, they've had some great outings by their pitchers, and that one a big swing on a miss for out number 2.
Yeah, exactly your point there. I mean, the Lopes return all 4 of their pitchers from the 2019 season, as well as adding a freshman pitcher into the mix. So looking to build upon what kind of damage pitching did last season, getting even stronger.
And that will bring Abby Bowie up to the plate for the Bulldogs. Still having a runner on first. So they have 1 on and 2 outs here in the top of the second. Again, Denhart getting ahead in the count here, 0-1. And that runner definitely eager to go there is Taylor, taking off at every pitch that is thrown in and trying to get that lead to get to second as easily as she possibly can. And there goes, and she will be called safe, and Taylor now getting her stolen base of the day.
So interesting call there. Let's take another look at it. Definitely close call.
Yeah, just a little hesitation there from Holland before throwing that ball down to second. But as you can see, Taylor safe at second. And back she will have to go as that ball is fouled back there by Bowie. And Bowie's count will now be a 2-2 with 2 outs. So Bulldogs down to their final strike for the inning. And the Lopes trying to get out with any damage here being done. And that ball hit almost into the dugout of the Lopes. So her count will remain at 2-2. That pitch in there from Denhart is ball number 3, so that will bring Bowie's count to 3-2 here in the top of the second. Lopes trying to get out of the second with no damage done, as there is a runner in scoring position, and that will do it with strike number 3 there from Denhart to get the Lopes out of that, and the Bulldogs will leave 1 on here in the top of the second.
Well, you can get the best gear to show off your Lope pride. Go to lopeshops.gcu.edu to find everything GCU, from the newest apparel to the coolest accessories. Using promo code GCUTV25, you can get 25% off just for being a GCU TV viewer. So let's paint the Valley purple, and always Lopes up.
Yeah, once again, that code is GCUTV25. You know, Lope Shop has a lot of great stuff there, Montana, that you can get, and you can get that 25% off just for being a GCU TV viewer. And so we will be heading into the bottom half of the second, where the Lopes will look to try and get something going here. Still early on in this game. Lopes trying to strike early here for getting their first win of the weekend and trying to break that 6-game losing streak, as we mentioned earlier on in the broadcast.
Yeah, definitely not the start that the Lopes have wanted to their season, but we got to remember this is a new team. There's a lot of new players, a lot of new faces, still trying to mesh with each other and find that groove.
As you mentioned, a lot of freshmen now in this lineup for the Lopes, and what's really great is a lot of them came in as pinch runners or pinch hitters and were able to get things going and really secured their spot in that lineup for the Lopes. And up first for the Lopes, we have Olivia Zufel, and Zufel will take that first pitch and pop it up to the shortstop for the Bulldogs and Libby Ryan. And so that will be out number 1 with another 1-pitch first out here in the bottom of the second. And so then that will bring up Kaylee Holland for the Lopes. And the first pitch to Holland is up high. So she has a 1-0 count to start things off. On Friday night, a lot of the pitches that came from Jake would start the Lopes off getting ahead early in the count. And again, that will now be a 2-0 count.
So Kaylee Holland is the junior out of Surprise, Arizona.
And that one hit high and out of play there, going into the bullpen on the third base side. So Holland's count is now 2-1. Lopes having 1 out here in the bottom of the second with nobody on.
Lopes also trying to work the count here, as we saw from Drake earlier.
And that one fouled back by Holland. So now her count will go to 2-2. And that pitch from Pals is going to be ball number 3. So now Holland's count will go to a full count of 3-2. And that will be ball number 4. So the Lopes will get Holland on. So the Lopes now have a person on first, and that will bring up Fifield to be hitting for the Lopes.
Well, this is Hannah Powell's first pitching appearance of the season.
Yeah, she did play for them back on Friday, but as you mentioned, Montana, her first time pitching, and that hit is a great piece of hitting there from Fifield, but the left fielder able to get her glove back on it and make that catch for out number 2. So we'll still have a runner on first, but now have 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. And that first pitch in there to Torval is ball number 1. So again, the Lobes being able to get ahead early on in the count. And that one up high, so her count will go to 2-0 with that runner on first.
Savannah Torville is named to the first all-WAC team for the 2019 season, and then the preseason all-WAC team for the 2020 season.
And that will be ball number 3 to Torville. Yeah, Torville doing some great things defensively for the Lobes, having some great fielding there and shortstop, and that will be called strike number 4. Torville thought that might have been ball number 4 and started to almost walk there to first, but her count will now be 3-1 here.
Torville is a sophomore out of Whittier, California.
And that one will be up high, so there is ball number 4 to Torville, so now the Lobes have a runner in scoring position with 2 on.
So not the start that Hannah Palace was going for here. First appearance as a pitcher all season.
No,
Looks like coach is going to talk things out with her.
Yeah, just trying to calm her down. It's still early on in this game. No one has come across the score yet for the Lobes, so trying to just calm her down a little bit. As we mentioned, this is her first time pitching for the season.
Well, these opportunities are what the Lobes are going to need to take advantage of. 2 runners in scoring position.
Definitely the Lobes had a couple of times on Friday night where they had the bases loaded and just weren't able to really do anything with those opportunities. So now with Gianna Nicoletti at bat for the Lobes, looking to get things going and possibly get some runs up on the board. And that is high and upstairs for ball number 1 to Gianna Nicoletti.
Nicoletti is the sophomore out of Fullerton, California.
And that will be called strike number 1. So now a 1-1 count here for Nicoletti. And if you're pals, you got to think, well, got 2 people on trying to get out of this inning without any damage happening. And if you're any of the Lobes hitters, you definitely want to think, and that one's going to get through. And the bases will be loaded for the Lobes, as it looks like Zufeld was going to try and run to third, but then got held up there at third.
Yeah, and it looks like Holland almost went home, but slid back to third. Good choice by her.
Yeah, definitely smart. Originally thinking that she had that time and then being held up there by the third base coach. And so now that will bring a Dietrich up to bat for the Lobes with the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. So once again, the Lobes have 2 runners in scoring position, so trying to get some work put in there and get some runs up on the board and showing.
Yeah, you got to love what you see if you're Coach Pearson right now. Trying to get ahead early is what's really going to make the difference in these games.
Definitely, and that ball to Dietrich is in for strike number 1, so her count goes to 0-1.
Dietrich is the junior out of Gilbert, Arizona.
And that ball high, so that'll even her count up at 1-1. And that will be in for strike number 2. So Dietrich's count 1-2 here for her first at bat of the day. Definitely trying to get something going in motion for the Lobes, so she fouls that one off the top of the net and bringing it back into the field. So Dietrich again just trying to get something in motion, having the bases loaded here for her in the bottom of the second. And that one a big swing, and if that was fair, would have been a grand slam, but it went over onto the top of the third base bullpen So her count will stay at 1-2.
You can tell she's hungry out there, really trying to bring her runners in.
And that pitch will be called ball number 2. And some of the Drake fans not too happy about that one. But definitely one hit. And, you know, we've mentioned that you can always want to bring your runners home if you can, and that one's going to be hit. And that will go through the hole as it's past the glove of the third baseman. So that will allow 1 run to score for the Lopes. So that will bring Haley Holland home for the Lopes.
Lopes getting ahead early. Savannah Torville almost called out at third there as we take another look here. Risky move sliding back.
Yeah, thankfully the third baseman misfielded that catch when it was thrown back from the left fielder, so allowing Torville to get back safely. And now that one popped up high and will be a miss there, but out of play, so the runners will have to go back to their bases. As that has Nikki Copper-Rubio back to at bat here for the Lopes.
That was a big missed opportunity for Drake.
Yeah, definitely.
Could have put out the inning there, but.
And that one to Copper-Rubio high. Yeah, definitely with the leadoff person in Ramage running to make that catch, but dropping the ball, so allowing this inning to continue on. And that one from Copper-Rubio hit high, and it will get to the warning track, but the center fielder for the Bulldogs will catch it. So the Lopes lead 3-on, but get 1 run across here in the bottom of the second, and we'll have more softball in the top of the third right here on GCU TV.
As a teacher, your calling was always to make a difference and positively impact the future. You live with a deep sense of purpose and strive to inspire generations of change. GCU's online Masters of Education degree program gives you the skills you need to grow and develop your career. You're not just inspiring future generations of leaders, you're giving them the tools they need to succeed.
Find your purpose at GCU, where advanced technologies drive education. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu/online.
Welcome back inside the GCU softball stadium. If you're just joining us, the Lopes are ahead of the Drake University Bulldogs 1-0 with one run coming across back in the bottom of the second as we look to start the top of the third. Denhart still out here for the Lopes, and Bitzinger up to bat for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Kaylee Dietrich really being the game changer, singling to the left side, RBI bringing Nicoletti home. Then Carubio flied out to center field, leaving 3 runners on base to end the inning. So Denhart looking to get back out here.
And that first pitch, a big swing on and miss there, so that will be a strike number 1 there for Bitzinger. So her count will go to 0-1 here in the top of the third. Yeah, Denhart now working with a little bit of a lead. So getting to hopefully get her team back up to bat. And that one hit grounded straight to Savannah Torville and fielded to Bishop for the 6-3 play to get out number 1 here in the top of the third. And that will bring up the top of the order here for the Bulldogs in Ramage. And Ramage will foul that first one off back into the netting that we have here. So her count will go 0-1. And that one will be called ball number 1, so her count will even up at 1-1. Denhart doing some good work here for the Lobes. Pitch count in about 30. So hopefully Lopes can leave her in for as long as they need to. And that one swung on and popped up high. And that will fall foul. So she will come back to bat here for the Bulldogs. Any of the Lopes players unable to get to the ball as it was kind of in that no man's land with the third base umpire kind of in the way for them to run into it. But that will bring Ramage's count to 1-2 here. But she will hit that one straight to the left fielder, Gianna Nicoletti. So that will record out number 2 here. So Denhart getting some good pitches in and getting 2 fast outs here for her team to get them back to bat. And that will bring up Macy Johnson to bat here. And the first pitch to Johnson will be called strike number 1, so she falls behind 0-1 in the count.
Macy Johnson does lead her team with a .436 average. So definitely a really strong hitter for Drake.
And that one just a nice piece of hitting there. She bounced up and over the head of Denhart and back into center field, so that will allow her to get safely on. So
we take another look here.
Yeah, that one bounced right in front of her and just over the heart at the head of Denhart.
Yeah, Denhart trying to make that grab, but just a little too high for her.
So now with 2 outs, the Bulldogs will get 1 runner on, and that will bring up Lilly Ryan. And that will send the runner, who will be out as the ball hit her as she was sliding in. So just like that, the Lobes get out of that inning and erase that runner at first as she was caught stealing, as we now head to the middle of the 3rd.
Well, the Grand Canyon University Arena is proud to host Elevate 2020 Music Festival back in Phoenix, Arizona for its 8th straight year. You can join us this June for a great weekend of worship. Tickets are on sale now at gcuarena.com. So we have a lot of great shows going on here at GCU, along with so many sports happening.
Yeah, it's always a busy time here in the spring for GCU with athletics and anything else going on, and you can come see Elevate here in June the 27th and the 28th. Plenty of sports going on this weekend. A little bit of softball canceled due to that inclement weather yesterday, but have more softball today, have baseball going on today.
Men's volleyball, they defeated UCLA on Friday. Big win for them.
Great win over number 8 UCLA. Baseball did play last night and won their game and are currently playing again today, and they have a doubleheader here as well. So you can always bounce back because all of those games you can catch right here on GCU TV.
And women's basketball ended their 8-game winning streak last night on senior night, but they'll spend the rest of the season away before they head to the WAC tournament.
So a lot of sports going on here for GCU, and you can catch all of the home games here on GCU TV, and that will bring us here into the bottom of the 3rd with Reed leading off here for the Lopes.
At bat, right fielder, Jaden Reed.
So Jaden Reed up to bat for the Lopes, looking for her first hit of the day. She was walked her first time back in the 1st. And that ball to Reed will be ball number 1. So getting ahead in the count here to start off the bottom of the 3rd.
Well, the freshman out of Davenport, Iowa, Allie Timmons, is up to pitch.
And that will be ball number 2 at Timmins, who pitched against the Lopes on Friday. Back in there again right now for the Bulldogs. And that will be called strike number 1. So Reed's count will go to 2-1 here. And Reed will hit that one high up to center. And that will be caught by the center fielder for the Bulldogs. So that will record out number 1 here for the Lopes. And that will bring Lilly Bishop up to bat, who's 0-1 so far on the day.
First baseman, Lilly Bishop.
A nice hit there by Reed. Just a little pops up a little too high there and giving the center fielder enough time to get underneath that and make that first out. That first pitch to Bishop is down low, so her count will go to 1-0. As we mentioned last time, Lilly saw Timmins. She hit a home run off of her. And that will hit Bishop, so that will allow her to move to first. So the Lopes have a runner on first with 1 out, and that will bring up Olivia Zufelt to the plate.
Up next for Grand Canyon.
And we've seen Zufelt definitely has that power. Got that first home run of the season for the Lopes. And has 2 on the season. And that up high, so that will be ball number 1.
Yeah, Zufelt was the hero in GCU's first win over New Mexico with a walk-off win, so only a freshman. Love to see that work ethic and drive from her so early on.
And she gets underneath that one, hits that one, but that will be out of catch for the first baseman as she was trying to slide and make that catch in the close by their dugout, but that ball just out of play, so that will even up Zufelt's count at 1-1.
So Allie Timmins got her first career win, pitching 4.5 innings and allowing 5 runs on 7 hits with 2 walks and 1 strikeout on Friday against GCU. So,
and that pitch there from Timmins will be bringing Zufelt's count to 2-1 there. And that ball hit there by Zufelt. That will get 2 outs and will get the Bulldogs out of the inning.
beautiful double play there.
Yeah, great double play there by the Bulldogs.
By Romich and Maddox
So
to end the inning for
that will end the inning there for the Lopes, and you will get more softball and the top of the 4th right here on GCU TV.
Sanderson Ford has been straight up with our customers for the past 65 years. We've climbed to the top with a no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense approach to selling Fords. No games, just straight up to provide the most value and best experience for our customers.
They support local sports and donate generously to local charities with a strong emphasis on kids and military.
If it's important to you to do business with someone who supports our community,
choose Sanderson Ford.
Straight up.
When it came time to look for master's degrees, when I first learned about Grand Canyon, I think as teachers and coaches, you're never done learning. Being a mentor is one of the most important things in my life. For me, it's not always about winning, it's about instilling things in my students and my athletes that'll carry them on. And I'm confident to say that I wouldn't be the same teacher or coach that I am today without that experience at GCU. I'm Joseph, and I graduated with a master's degree online from GCU.
There's a thunder in all of us. Come find your purpose at Grand Canyon University.
And let's take another look at this double play that ended the bottom of the 3rd. A nice hit, but grounded straight to the shortstop, so able to get that to second and to first quickly there for the Bulldogs to end the bottom of the 3rd and get back to at bat. But Zenhart back out to pitch here for the Lopes. And Libby Ryan will be the leadoff person here for the Bulldogs. And Bishop 0-1, flying out to center field her last time at bat. And that first pitch from Denhart is just a little outside, so that will be a 1-0 count there for Ryan. And that pitch in for ball number 2. So now Ryan's count will go to 2-0 here. Denhart almost up to 40 pitches here in the top of the 4th. And that in for strike number 1. So now a 2-1 count here for Ryan. And that pitch a little high again. So a 3-1 count here for Ryan. And so Denhart gonna take a little bit of time here and get herself back in and set to hopefully not allow the runoff person to get on here for the Bulldogs. And that one hit and fouled back. And again, bounced off the net and back into play. So that will bring her count to a full 3-2.
And once again, like we've seen all afternoon, Drake hitters really working Denhart, working the count.
And that one hit straight to Lilly Bishop, so that will record out number 1. As you mentioned, Montana, definitely a great job there by the people at bat, really working up the pitch count and battling back into it. And again, you got to give credit to Denhart there. As let's take another look as we come back. But that was a nice little bunt up in front, but bounced straight to Lilly Bishop, getting that first out of the top of the 4th here.
Well, that'll bring up Sarah Maddox, the first baseman.
And that first pitch too. Maddox is in for strike number 1, so Denhart getting ahead of the count here. 0-1 with 1 out and nobody on for the Bulldogs.
And Maddox is 0-1 this afternoon.
And that will be called ball number 1, so that'll even up her count at 1-1. We've kind of seen it all weekend long, just the coming back and really getting into this pitch count for pitchers on both sides of the field. And really both teams being able to work their at-bats, and that pitch will be in for ball number 2. So now a 2-1 count here for Maddox. As now Denhart needs to come back and even up this count right here. And that pitch down and low, so that will be a 3-1 count now here for Maddox. Looking for her first hit of the day.
Maddox does have a .310 average.
And that will be ball number 4. So Denhart will walk Maddox. And that will bring up Vaultman. And that'll get a little meeting from the assistant coach, Mandy Gardner, there for Denhart. Just trying to calm her down. Still got plenty of softball left, not only today, but just in this game. And so just trying to calm her down after walking that last batter.
Yeah, in some ways with yesterday's games being canceled, it really helped the pitching staff for this afternoon's games, especially with these tournaments having so many games, so many double headers. Pitching is crucial, and we got to keep those arms healthy.
Yeah, definitely. That little extra rest that they got with having those games canceled yesterday. That will bring Vaultman up to bat here for the Bulldogs.
Vaultman with a .394 average for Drake. She's been a pretty effective hitter this season.
And that first pitch in there for strike number 1. So after walking the last batter, Denhart getting the first strike there is a great move for her there. So now Vaultman's count will go to 0-1. And that will be called strike number 2. So now a quickly getting behind in the count there. So an 0-2 count there for Vaultman. The Lopes also have the double play ball in effect with a runner on first. And Vaultman having to back out a little way to get out of the way of getting hit by that one. So now her count will move to 1-2 after that last pitch. And that one pops up high, but into no man's land there in between the center fielder, right fielder, and shortstop. Excuse me, the first baseman. So now the Lopes will go back as they now allowed that one. So now the Bulldogs have a runner in scoring position with 2 on and 1 out. And bringing up Taylor to bat for the Bulldogs.
When you compare this team, I mean, Drake is a very talented team. Overall 7-6, while the Lopes are 2-11. So Lopes having a tough season so far.
That one in for ball number 1, yeah.
Doing some damage in this game so far, up by 1.
Yeah, Lopes look to keep that lead going and just try and get out of this inning with limiting any damage that could possibly done, having a runner in scoring position. And that ball is a little outside, so her count will go up to 2 balls and no strikes for Taylor. Taylor also looking for her first hit of the day as she's 0-1. And that will be in there for her first strike, so that'll bring Taylor's count to 2-1.
Lopes could really use a double play right here to end the inning.
Yeah, that double play ball still in effect here for the Lopes, as that's how their last inning was ended. Looking to do the same thing back to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, just
and that in there for strike number 2, so that'll bring Taylor's count to an even 2-2.
Denhart's talented. She knows how to handle these type of situations that are high pressure. Something she's good at, which is why she's the WAC preseason pitcher of the year.
And that one hit high and popped up there to the right fielder for the Lopes. Jaden Reed.
Beautiful catch there as we take another look.
Now that one popped up straight back to Reed. Able to get under it and throw that back to Torville and keep any of the runners from advancing. So that will now bring up Anderson for the Bulldogs. And they now have strike number 1 there to Anderson, with the Bulldogs having 2 on, still 1 in running position with now 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And that will be ball number 1, so that'll even her count up at 1. Excuse me, that'll be called strike number 2. So that will bring her to an 0-2 count here. So Denhart being ahead in the count for the Lopes. And that one far outside, so that will now be ball number 1. So that will bring Anderson's count to 1-2 with 2 outs and 2 on for the Bulldogs here in the top of the 4th. And that a big swing on and miss there by Anderson, so that will record out number 3 here in the top of the 4th. The Bulldogs will leave 2 on.
Well, the Drowsy Chaperone is the latest from the College of Fine Arts in production. Featuring explosive twists and turns, this hilarious comedy opens with a theater fanatic listening to his favorite cast album that comes to life before his eyes. It all begins on March 20th at Ethington Theater, so go ahead and get your tickets now. And as always, students get in free with a GCU ID, so one of the many benefits that students have here at GCU is every event is free.
Yeah, and you know, college kids love free things, Montana.
Oh,
so
yes.
If
you college kids ourselves, we gotta say, we do love free things.
We love free things.
You had me at free, so.
Free food, free t-shirts, free shows.
Yeah.
Free athletics? Yeah, you can't get much better than that.
Especially at our beautiful complexes here.
Definitely. And so the Lobes will be back to at bat here for the bottom of the 4th. The Lobes will have Holland, Fifield, and Torville for the bottom of the 4th. Lopes looking to add a few more runs here as they are ahead 1-0. Getting that 1 run back in the bottom of the 2nd. So Lopes looking to add on to their lead that they have right now. And so the Lopes will have the lead-off hitter in Kaylee Holland. And
Up to bat first for the Grand Canyon, the catcher, Kaylee Holland.
Allie Timmons still to pitch here for the Bulldogs. And so waiting for Holland to step into the batter's box as the umpire needed to get some more balls to start the bottom of the 4th here for the Lopes. So now that the home plate umpire is back in place, we'll have Kaylee Holland leading off here for the Lopes. And that first pitch to Holland will be ball number 1. So Holland getting ahead in the count early on here. Trying to get the leadoff man on for the Lopes for the first time here in the game. And that second pitch also down low, so her count will quickly move to 2-0 here in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, Denhart really worked herself out of that jam in the last inning. Let's see if the Lopes can extend the lead here.
And that will be ball number 3 to Holland. So 3 straight balls here to Holland to start the bottom of the 4th for the Lopes. So if you're the Lopes, this is how you want to start out. And if you're the Bulldogs, not doing so great. And that will be called strike number 1. So Holland has a 3-1 count here. And still nicely ahead here in the count as she settles back in. And she will fire that one to the left field side, but it'll go just foul.
Beautiful hit there.
Yeah, it was a great hit, but unfortunately just bouncing a little foul and rolling into the back corner. So she will come back at bat, and that'll even her count up to a full 3-2.
Holland's one of the GCU hitters that really knows how to work the count. She takes her time, looks for the perfect pitches.
And that pitch to Holland is high. So the Lopes have the leadoff man on as she was walked here in the bottom of the 4th. So that will bring Fifield up to bat for the Lopes.
So Lopes looking for their first win against Drake lifetime.
And that has Holland starting to run there as any type of movement there from Holland as she started to run on that last pitch there to Fifield.
So prior to this weekend, these two teams played in March of 2019 in Norman, Oklahoma, where Drake defeated Grand Canyon 3-1. There was a lone run by Savannah Torville, who brought Taylor Olson home. Lorianne Olson got 2 hits.
And that one hit into the middle. And tagged out was Holland and also got the out at first. So that double play there. So the Lopes quickly have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th as we take another look at that again. And that first pitch in to Savannah Torville will be called ball number 1. So that leadoff man was erased for the Lopes as she got tagged out as she was running to second, and then throw made it to first in time to get that out in Fifield as well. And now Torville's count will go to 2-0.
Yeah, we've seen lots of double plays from Drake tonight. Really great communication on the field.
And that one fouled off there by Torville. So
kind of what we just saw from Holland.
Yeah, definitely battling those pitches where she can. So now a 2-1 count. Torville looking for her first hit as she was also walked her last time at bat. And now having a 3-1 count. Torville, a dangerous hitter for the Lopes, and can get those balls in play when she needs to and can have that power behind her hits as well. And that will be called ball number 4. So the Lopes again have a runner on first, and Torville walked for her second time today.
And that'll bring up the speedy Nicoletti.
Yep, Gianna Nicoletti up to bat now for the Lopes. Definitely does have great speed when she's on those bases, Montana. And now having one on with 2 outs. And that ball far outside there. So Nicoletti's count will go to 1-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. Lopes still have that 1-0 lead. Looking to add on to it here in the bottom of the 4th. And that one is high outside, so Nicoletti's count will go to 2-0.
And of course, after this, we have lots more softball to be played. The Lopes will face the Matadors of Cal State Northridge for a double-header action due to yesterday's inclement weather.
And that ball hit far to left field, but just foul. So Nicoletti will come back into the batter's box.
Abby Buey really trying to get a hold on that one as you take another look, but unable to do so. Fell right in front of her.
Yeah.
We've seen lots of that happen on
that
side
third
of the
base
field
side, yeah.
all afternoon. Lots of foul balls that Drake hasn't been able to capture.
And so now Nicoletti will bounce that one up. But with her speed, she will be safe. So a nice slight bunt there from Nicoletti allowing Torville to advance and getting there safely on first. So a little bit of a 2-out rally here coming from the Lopes.
She's definitely one of the Lopes' secret weapons with her speed there.
Yeah, and we'll look
So
at
you
that
take
again.
another
Just
look.
bounce right in front of her and unable to get fielded by the third baseman, Betzinger, there for the Bulldogs. And that speed by Nicoletti was unable to be beaten out there by that throw. So Lopes have 2 on with 2 outs here. And Dietrich coming to bat.
Dietrich hitting a 185 on the season through 27 at-bats.
Yeah, and Dietrich's count will now move to 1 ball and no strikes, as that one has gotten away from Anderson, but able to keep it close enough to not allow the runners to advance. So now Dietrich's count will move to 2-0. And that will be called strike number 1. So now a 2-1 count here to Dietrich.
Lopes really looking to optimize these scoring positions, scoring opportunities here. 2 runners on.
And that will be high to Dietrich, so now her count will go to 3-1. So Lopes trying to look to add on to their lead here, as Timmons looks to shut down this inning and get her team back to bat. And that one hit hard, but fouled down the third base side there by Dietrich, so her count will move to 3-2 here with 2 out and 2 on.
Lopes are taking some good hacks, just slightly out in front of the fastball.
Yeah, as we've mentioned before, Montana, sometimes they try to break that lead with one swing of the bat and kind of just got to chip away things one
Just like
hit
that.
at a time.
Yeah.
Taking some mighty hacks there.
Really going down that third base line.
And that ball hit foul there by Dietrich, so her count will remain at 3-2.
Working the count here.
And that will be ball number 4. So Timmons will walk another batter, now having the bases loaded.
Timmons in a bit of a situation here. Bases loaded with Lopes. 2 outs.
Yeah, that
Mickey
Mickey Cavarubio up to bat. That dangerous hitting freshman who's looking for her first hit of the day. But when she gets her bat swinging hot, it's definitely a good thing for the Lopes. And that pitch to her will be high and outside for ball number 1. So Timmons has walked 2 of the 3 Lopes that are on base.
Yeah, and Mickey Caruvio, when she gets going, she's going against Western Illinois. She hit a homer over the right field wall to win it for the Lopes when they started off at the Getterman Classic last week.
And that will be ball number 2 to Cavarubio. So Timmons' catcher just kind of going out there and trying to give her the ball back, and that will bring out the assistant coach there for Drake, and just kind of a little conversation with her pitcher here, having walked to the last batter and having a 2-0 count here to Cavarubio.
Yeah,
So-
Drake definitely needing to talk things over when you're in a situation like this. Down by 1, bases loaded.
A dangerous hitter at bat for the Lopes.
But, I mean, you got to give the pitcher credit. She did secure the win Friday night over this same team, same Grand Canyon. So, looking to get, she's wanting her second win over GCU.
And Timmons comes back set and delivers her first pitch since that meeting to Cavarubio. Still high, so ball number 3. So 3-0 count here to Cavarubio. And if you're the Bulldogs, the last thing you want to do right now is walk or run in. You're already down by 1. Bases loaded from 2 walks. You don't want to walk that third batter and have to walk in that run. But that is what will happen. As
Caruvio with a good eye out there.
Yeah, Great eye by Covarubio. So the Lopes now have a 2-0 lead.
Brings Savannah Torville home.
As Timmons just walked Covarubio with 4 straight balls. So Lopes still have bases loaded here with Reed now up to bat for the Lopes. With 2 outs and 3 on. And that will be the 5th straight ball thrown here.
Timmons really struggling out there on the mound. She is a freshman.
And now that will bring out a new pitcher for the Bulldogs. And that will be Mackenzie Hupke. But Hupke coming in with 1 ball already against her in this pitch count to Reed.
Hupke, the freshman out of Independence, Iowa. So lots of freshman pitchers that we've seen all weekend.
New pitcher on the field, Mackenzie Hupke.
So the 3rd pitcher of the afternoon for Drake.
And the Lopes have a pinch runner in Christine Bellavia. And
Belvia also got some speed on her. Makes sense why she's used so often as a pinch runner.
So the Lopes now have a pinch runner on and a new pitcher in for the Bulldogs. But Hupke kind of facing a little bit of a challenge already, as that first pitch to Reed was a ball, so she's already behind in the count before even throwing a single pitch.
Yeah, and it's a tough situation as a pitcher to come in with the bases loaded. Not easy.
Yeah, definitely a lot of pressure being put on her coming in here. But her first pitch is in for a strike, so now a 1-1 count to Reed. Lopes have had 7 people come to bat and already have 2 outs, and that one will be outside. So ball number 2 for Reed, so 2 balls and 1 strike.
And like as we mentioned earlier, pitching's tough when you have so many games to be played. And as we said, Drake played this morning.
And that one hit bounce back, and that will record the final out of the bottom of the 4th. But the Lopes add 1 run on and leave 3 on base. And we will have more softball and the top of the 5th right here on GCU TV.
But we already have the best student section in the whole country.
I know, but what can we do to take this thing to the next level?
Guys, I think I've got an idea.
Whoa.
Ain't gonna get any better than that.
So one key component that makes the Waste Management Phoenix Open so successful is Cox Business. Over 700,000 people are going to come enjoy TPC Scottsdale, from digital TV to digital phones to security, and most importantly, that free Wi-Fi all over this property. We simply couldn't do it without a partner like Cox Business. We're grateful, we're thankful, it's a hole-in-one.
And welcome back inside the GCU softball stadium, where we are at the top of the 5th inning. The Lopes have a 2-0 lead here on the Drake University Bulldogs. And up to bat for the Bulldogs is Abby Buey, the left fielder.
Buey has had some beautiful catches all night long. Definitely got a good glove on her. See what she can do with the swing of the bat.
And that first pitch in from Denhart will be called strike number 1. So Lopes trying to keep this lead and not allow anything to happen here, while the Bulldogs trying to swing back into things. Only down by 2 here in the top of the 5th, and that one hit straight back to Denhart and will be fielded to the first baseman, Lilly Bishop, to record out number 1. So getting the first out quickly there for the Lopes.
Yeah, nice teamwork there. And with it 2-0 lead here, and the momentum going GCU's way, Denhart needs to continue to pound the zone and hang some zeros here.
And that will bring Aubrey Bitzinger up to bat, the freshman from Pittsburgh, Kansas. And that one will be hit, but will fall foul down the third base side. So that will bring her count to 0-1. Lopes being able to strike early here in this game, and allowing their pitcher to work early in that first pitch there. And
nice throw there by Savannah Torville.
Nice throw by Torville. That ball grounded straight to Torville and thrown to Bishop for out number 2. So quick 2 outs there for the Lopes.
She's definitely got a good arm out there as we take another look at that. Straight to her, to Kaylee Dietrich at first. To Lilly Bishop at first, excuse me.
And that one hit just past the glove of Bishop, and that diving catch by that hit by Ramage.
Great efforts there, but going to be a tough play regardless by Lilly Bishop.
Yeah.
So you take another look. Going for the dive, but
trying
just
to get
off
that
of her
out
glove.
To get out number 3 quickly, but that ball was declared foul as it bounced past the first base side. So that will bring Ramage back to the plate. So nice effort there by Bishop. And that one will be hit and just missing the glove there of Nicoletti. That will allow a double by Ramage. So let's take another look at that one. That one hit nicely, but just past the outstretched glove there of Nicoletti.
Gotta love that athletic ability from Nicoletti. Unable to make the catch, but that beautiful throw to second, unfortunately not in time.
And that will bring up Macy Johnson to bat with a runner in scoring position for the Bulldogs in that first pitch there to Johnson, and for strike number 1. So her count goes to 0-1.
Macy Johnson, the .439 hitter, leads her team. The highest batting average.
And that will be called strike number 2. So just like that, no 2 count there to Johnson. Bulldogs have 2 outs and 1 on in scoring position. Lopes trying to get out of this inning as quickly as they can to get their team back up to bat in this first game of their doubleheader, and that ball is outside, so that will bring her count to 1-2 here. Denhart still in here for the Lopes, pitching greatly as that ball is just outside. So that will bring Johnson's count to an even 2-2 with 2 outs and a runner on second.
Johnson is one of 4 players that has started in all games for the Bulldogs.
And that pitch grounded straight to Torville. But the throw is not in time, and that will bring the runner around to score from the second. So just like that, the Bulldogs have cut their deficit to 1. So a nice fielding effort there by Torville, and throwing that to Bishop. And the throw to first just not in time, and you got to give the base runner their credit as she saw that she had that opening to cut that lead there for her team and was able to come around and score. And so now Libby Ryan up to bat in that first pitch into Ryan is called ball number 1. So she's ahead in the count here with a 1 ball and no strikes. And that will be ball number 2. So quickly ahead 2-0 with 2 outs and 1 on.
It'll be interesting to see if Denhart continues to roll along or if the Lopes coaching staff will let her go to the distance.
Yeah, Denhart has been doing some great work here for the Lopes as that one will be popped up into shallow right center. So allowing the runner to advance to third. So a nice hit there by Ryan. So Ryan now on first, and as we take another look at that.
That ball falling right in front of center fielder Mickey Caruvio.
And so that will bring Pearson to the mound to talk to her pitcher and the rest of the infield.
You gotta love the unity that this team has, the bond that they share. I mean, even when they're hitting, they go back and talk to each other about what's going on. They have a really great sense of communication.
So Denhart will stay in here for the Lopes. Despite the Lopes getting 2 outs rather quickly, now kind of in the same situation that they left the Bulldogs in at the bottom of last inning. So now with a runner in scoring position on third and a runner on first with 2 outs. With Sarah Maddox up to bat for the Lopes as she skies that one high, and center fielder Mickey Cavarubio able to get underneath that. So that will record the final out of the top of the 5th, but the Bulldogs cut the Lopes lead by 1. So now a 2-1 game here in the middle of the 5th as they left 2 runners on.
Well, welcome to the big leagues. The Grand Canyon Beverage Company has launched a 16-ounce can of their popular energy drink, Stampede. I know me and Cheyenne love those, so you can keep up with the herd and head to GCBC to get yours. We have so many locations on campus, and we even sell Stampedes online at the Lope shop, so tons of options to keep all you Lopes energized. I know we need the energy for these double headers.
Definitely. Gotta love that GCBC. Gotta love Stampede. And, you know, you can get 4 packs of GCBC online from the Lope shop, and you can use promo code GCUTV25 to get 25% off of those cans of Stampede.
Yeah, so gotta love that. Just for being a GCU TV viewer, you have those perks.
And, yeah, as you mentioned, always gotta stay caffeinated for these doubleheaders. And Montana kind of got all of the GCU TV crew hooked on her flavors of Stampede with the, what is it, peach, passion fruit, and lavender.
Yeah, so gotta try those infusions.
Real good. Yeah.
Well, we see a shot of Coach Pearson down there. She's the only coach in all of GCU softball history, so definitely been an effective coach. Reasons why she's been here so long. And something fun about her is that her daughter, Jordan Pearson, is also on the team, and we have another coach as well. Coach Andy Stankiewicz of baseball has his son, Dane Stankiewicz, on the team. So pretty cool that we have that family aspect through 2 different teams at GCU.
Yep, and speaking of the baseball team, they're currently playing CSUN over down the way in Brazel Field and are currently down 6-2 in the top of the 8th. So baseball looking to get back into that game as they also have a doubleheader, and that first pitch to Bishop is fouled off down the first base side, so that'll bring her count to 0-1. So lots of sports going on as we take another look at this hit by Bishop. just hits it down foul on the first base side. Trying to be aggressive and get that one run back with hitting like that. And that in for ball number 1, so that'll even up her count at 1-1. Lopes still have that lead here in the bottom of the 5th, 2-1. So, as we mentioned, the Bulldogs being able to get that one run back by a great play there from the Bulldogs as that ball is in for strike number 2. So, Bishop down 1-2 here in her count. And that pitch to Bishop is tipped off and caught by the catcher. And that will allow her to stay alive a little bit as she was able to get a slight bat on that ball there. So now her count will remain at 1-2, being keeping herself alive here. And that one fouled back into the net.
Made me flinch a little bit up here.
Yeah. Very thankful for that net there, Montana, as that one definitely would have come straight back to us.
Well, Lilly Bishop is the junior out of Riverside, California. She is a transfer. She came to us from North Carolina State. But last year she had a really successful sophomore season, competing in 49 games, 39 starts for the Lopes. As that one's thrown to first. Easy put out for Drake.
Yeah, grounded back to Ryan and thrown there to first.
You can take another look at that.
Yep, grounded. A nice play there by Ryan. Just a short little throw over to first to record that first out. And that will bring Zufeld up for the Lopes here. And that first pitch there fouled off by Zufeld.
Zufeld is the freshman out of Hayden, Idaho.
And that one fouled off again into the back of the net. So her count will go to 0-2.
She was a member of the 500 batting average club back in high school last year. She finished with a career batting average of .433, while being a school record holder for fielding percentage, consecutive games with a hit, and triples.
A big swing on a miss there by Zufeld. So that quickly gives the Lopes 2 outs here, as that will bring up Kaylee Holland to the plate. And that first pitch to Holland is ball number 1. And that one fouled back by Holland, evening her count up at 1-1. Lopes looking to snap their 6th game losing streak as that ball is delivered high, so bringing Holland's count to 2-1. Currently on track to do that here with a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, Lopes definitely looking to advance that lead here.
And that ball delivered for ball number 3, so Holland's count now 3-1. And that will be ball number 4, so Holland will be walked. That will be her 3rd walk of the day.
Yeah, lots of walks have happened all afternoon. Kind of pattern going on.
Yeah, Holland has 2 walks. Dorval has been walked twice. And that, a nice piece of hitting, first pitch hitting there by Fifield. Straight down the gap there in right center.
As you take another look, Aubrey Betzinger trying to dive for that win, but misses.
Left field center. And so now the Lopes have 2 on with 2 outs, as that will bring Savannah Torville up to bat.
Savannah Torville looking to capitalize.
And looks like runners will be off at any sign of a hit here, as we have 2 fairly speedy runners there on the base path for the Lopes. And that a big swing on and miss there by Torville with 2 on and 2 out, and now a 0-2 count to Torville. And that will be ball number 1 to Torville, so now a 1-2 count.
Fun fact about Torville is that the girls call her Savvy.
And that pitch outside, so bringing her count to an even 2-2, so coming back in that count there. As we mentioned, this is game number 1 of the doubleheader for the Lopes, so the second game against CSUN will start about 30 minutes after that, and now Torville's count will move to a full 3-2. So if you're Hubkey trying not to walk this batter and make it a bases fully loaded, but Torville fouls that one off, keeping herself alive here. So runners will go back to their bases. Hubkey, take your time with this pitch. And that one bounced in front of the...
Nice grab there,
yeah, nice
by Drake to end the inning.
And so that will end the bottom of the 5th for the Lopes, leading 2 on. So we will have more softball and the top of the 6th right here on GCU TV.
Canyon State Credit Union, a local credit union serving the Valley for over 65 years, can assist you in buying your first home, refinancing your current home, or if you're dreaming of a retirement home. Canyon State Credit Union can provide you with a fast and affordable solution that meets your needs. Let Canyon State Credit Union run the numbers on your dream. Visit canyonstatecu.org or call 623-580-6015 for more information. Canyon State Credit Union, committed to you. We do business in accordance with the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, MLS number 410376.
When my hot water heater failed, she was pregnant, in-laws were coming, a little bit of water, it rocked our world.
I had no idea the amount of damage that water could do.
We called USAA, and they greeted me as they always do. Sergeant Baker, how are you? They were on it. It was unbelievable. Having insurance is something everyone needs, but having USAA, that's a privilege. We're the Bakers, and we're USAA members for life.
USAA. Get your insurance quote today.
Welcome back inside the GCU softball stadium, as you see the scoreboard there showing the Lopes leading the Drake University Bulldogs 2-1. Lopes still holding on to that lead, with the Bulldogs getting 1 run in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, unfortunately, GCU couldn't add to the lead in the bottom of the 5th, leading 2 runners on base, but the Lopes now need to hold the Bulldogs scoreless for 6 more outs, which is no easy talk ahead. A win today would be very big for this ball club against the very talented Drake team, who has defeated the Lopes 2 times. So Lopes still looking for their first win against this talented group of athletes.
Yep, and that first pitch there from Denhart is in for strike number 1. And Voltman looking for her second hit of the day, as she was struck out her first time at bat and then got a single her second time back in the 4th. So now in the top of the 6th here. That in for strike number 2 from Denhart, so that will bring Voltman's count to 1-2. And that one being hit by Voltman foul down the right field side, rolling back into the corner, having to get fielded there by Reed and thrown back here to Denhart, bringing Bowman's count to 1-2. So trying to get another, at least first quick out here for the Lopes, while they still hold this lead, and that will be ball number 2, so it'll even her count up at 2-2. And Lopes still looking for their first win on the weekend, as they, as we have mentioned, has that 6-game losing streak and trying to snap that today. And that one hit by Voltman to the right field side, falling in the gap there. So that will put the leadoff person on for Drake. As we take another look.
Right into that gap. Oops, unable to come away with that one.
So now Delaney Taylor up to bat here for the Bulldogs. Delaney showing bunt there.
Fouled
bunting
out.
that back. So now her count will move to 0-1. And that one hit, and we'll get one out at second, and the ball will get away from Bishop. So now the runner will be advancing to second, but will be called safe. So a single, and will advance on that throwing error there.
So let's take another look at that one.
One bunted and bounce straight to Torville and get that easy out there at second, but
should have
bounced
been
right in front of Bishop.
Yeah, it should have been an easy out double play for the Lopes, but fortunate that error there at first. It's really going to cost the Lopes in moments like these as we head to the final innings. That's really what's going to be the game-changing difference.
So the Bulldogs now have one out and one on, with that one runner in Taylor in scoring position, as we bring Anderson up to bat here for the Bulldogs.
Anderson is
Excuse
over
me, that it will be Kristen Aries being brought to bat here for the for the Bulldogs. First time she will see the Lopes here today. As she hits that one straight to Dietrich, and Dietrich will tag the runner out at second, so that leadoff runner and scoring position will be erased there for the Bulldogs, but the runner will be safe at first. So Buey now up to bat here for Drake, now with 2 outs and 1 on after the leadoff runner was taken out there by getting in a little bit of a pickle there, as Dietrich got that ball and started to run and was tagged out in between second and third. And that first pitch to Buey in for strike number 1. So Lopes looking to get out of the top of the 6th with no damage being added on. And that one from Buey hit into the gap into left center, and that will advance the runner from first as she's running to third, and will be called safe at third, sliding in, and that will allow Buey to get to second. So now the Bulldogs have 2 in scoring position with 2 outs.
So you take another look here. Got to give credit to Nicoletti still, that speed that she's got on her and that beautiful arm, just not in time for another time this afternoon that's happened to her. Looks like Coach is going to talk with Denhart here.
So just having a talk with down our ears.
So before this weekend, GCU dropped 4 straight games at the Getterman Classic in Waco, Texas. They started the weekend off on a win by defeating Western Illinois 4-2, then lost to Baylor, Prairie View A&M, Baylor again in Western Illinois as well. So
it looks like Denhart will stay in here for the Lopes, as we now have Bitzinger and 2 hit for the Bulldogs. Bulldogs have 2 out and 2 on, both in scoring position, as that ball will be thrown for ball number 1 to Bitzinger. So her count is a 1-0 count here. Denhart trying to get out of this inning and not allow those runners to score to continue to give her team the lead. And that will be ball number 2 there for Bitzinger.
Bit of a tough situation for Denhart here. 2 runners in scoring position.
And that will be strike number 1 there to Bitzinger. So now a 2-1 count.
We ask and she answers.
Most definitely. Definitely want to get out of this inning, continuing to give her team the lead here to get their first win on this weekend and snap that 6-game losing streak. And that one will be hit straight to Dietrich. And that will record out number 3, so we will end the top of the 6th. The Bulldogs will leave 2 on, both in scoring position, and that will bring up the Lopes in the bottom part of the 6th here.
Well, you can come celebrate the Ethington Theater Dance Ensemble's 10th anniversary season with Moving Forward, a concert that aspires to elevate conversations on dance toward a vision of social harmony. Performances will begin on April 17th. As always, you can get your tickets at the Ethington Theater box office, and as we mentioned before, all student tickets are free.
Again, college students love free things, Montana.
Yeah. Well, we got lots of free softball coming up, as we still have game 2 of this doubleheader coming up after this one, where the Lopes will face the Matadors of Cal State University Northridge. Northridge has had a pretty good weekend so far, so it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, Northridge.
They've gone undefeated on the weekend over Utah State.
Yeah, Northridge getting their first win of the day earlier before this game against Utah State, run-ruling them in 5. So them getting an even longer break as they cut their game 2 innings short.
Well, this, of course, is also a big game for GCU against Drakey. Really talented team. Lopes looking to get their first win against this team and their first win in 6 games. So coming into this tournament, Drake had a 500 record after competing in the Dome and Stanford tournaments. They went 3 for 2, defeating South Dakota State, and DePaul. And then Drake went to the Stanford tournament, where they went 2 for 3, defeating Hofstra twice, but falling to Stanford. But the Lopes also fell to Stanford earlier this season too, so.
And the first batter up for the Lopes is Gianna Nicoletti, and that first pitch to Nicoletti will be ball number 1. So the Lopes have Nicoletti, who's 2-2 for the day, then Kaylee Dietrich, who is 1-1 with 1 RBI, and then Mickey Cavarubio, who's 0-2 with 1 RBI and for the Lopes. And that pitch will be ball number 2 for the Lopes.
Good lineup coming that way, and good timing, good situation for that. Got some great hitters that'll be coming up.
Definitely the 2 people who've driven runs in for the Lopes up in this part of the order. So if the Lopes were to add on, it would be a good time here with the 3 that they have up here today. And that will be the 3rd straight ball to Nicoletti. So 3-0 count for Nicoletti. Make that a 4-0 count, so the leadoff man for the Lopes is walked. So the Lopes have that lead on runner at first, bringing up Kaylee Dietrich.
Lopes are on base. Kaylee Dietrich gonna dig in, seeing what she can do today.
Lopes looking to add on to their 2-1 lead here. Definitely got some speed there on first in Nicoletti. And that pitch is thrown behind. So, but it looked like it was tipped off by Dietrich, so Nicoletti will have to go back to first. And that will give Dietrich a 0-1 count here.
Well, going back to that play where the Lopes were able to get the lead runner on the ground ball to the shortstop, followed by the double in the gap, that would have given the Bulldogs that tying run with 2 outs. So really big play there. As you saw, another look at that last one.
And Dietrich shows bunt as Nicoletti is running off of first, but that ball fouled back. So Nicoletti retreats back to first, and Dietrich back to the batter's box as her count goes to 0-2 here. Lopes still with no out and 1 runner on here in the bottom of the 6th. And that ball gets behind the catcher, and that will allow Nicoletti, who's already halfway to first,
gotta love that
to second,
speed
get
on
back
her.
there as she speedy
moves.
one there. So now Dietrich's count is 1-2 here with a runner in scoring position for the Lopes. And that one hit high and up, but able to be caught there. But Nicoletti will run and be safe at third. As
wow,
we mentioned, that speed.
That speed there, incredible. Let's take another look at that. I can't get enough of that.
Absolutely great there. That slide into third, being called safe there. Great running there by Nicoletti.
And that encouragement by Coach Ann Pearson. Love to see that.
And so the Lopes now have 1 out with a runner on third. And that will bring Covarubio up to bat for the Lopes as that first pitch is fouled down the third base side. So her count will go to 0-1. And that one to Covarubio is up high, so her count will even out at 1-1. And that will be outside, so 2-1 will be the count to Covarubio. So Lopes trying to just look to add a little bit of an insurance onto their lead here, having that runner on third. And the Bulldogs will be down to their final 3 outs. And that will be a 3-1 count now for Covarubio. And that will be ball number 4 to Covarubio. So the Lopes have runners on the corner with 1 out, and that will bring up Reed to bat here for the Lopes. So Jaden Reed at bat here for the Lopes, the freshman from Tucson, Arizona.
Reed with a .306 batting average.
And that one fouled off by Reed, so her count will be 0-1. Lopes still only have 1 out with 2 runners on the corner, and that great speed there in Nicoletti on third. And that ball gets behind, so that will allow Nicoletti to score from third and Covarubio to advance to second. So the Lopes add to their lead here in the bottom of the 6th with 1 out, so it's now a 3-1 game. Reed still with a 1-1 count, so 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out for the Lope and 1 runner on.
Lopes getting in their groove here.
And that one hit by Reed into the gap in left center. And that will allow Covarubio to score as it goes all the way to the back wall there on the warning track. And that will give Reed a stand-up double.
Lopes living off of that momentum that just keeps building.
Yep, so now a 4-1 game here for the Lopes.
Lopes in a good place right now.
And so let's take another look at that hit there by Reed. So a nice piece of hitting into that left field side, and it'll bounce all the way back to the back wall. And now Lilly Bishop up to bat for the Lopes. Bishop showing bunt and bunts that ball straight back into the net. So her count will move to 0-1. Lopes have Reed now at second after her stand-up double. Lopes now have that 4-1 lead. So really nice outing here by the Lopes here in this inning, adding 2 on, and that one by Bishop bounced and slightly misfielded there by the shortstop, but able to get it and throw it to the first base for the second out of the bottom of the 6th.
Well, what's next for this Drake team is they'll head to face Oregon on February 28th in Tulsa, Oklahoma for a Tulsa Invitational, and then Grand Canyon will head to the Judy Garman Classic in Fullerton, California. They will take on Colorado State.
The Lopes have a pinch runner in Taylor Olson, the sophomore from Riverside, California.
She's into pinch hit for the Lopes.
And a big swing on a miss there by Olson for strike number 1. So Lopes have a runner on third.
And you definitely got to give the Lopes the credit for some smart base running that we've seen.
Definitely.
Whether you're a Lopes fan or watching from Drake territory, you got to appreciate that.
Having that last pitch to Olson was high, so her count evens up at 1-1. And Olson will hit that one back and into the gap, so that will allow one more run to score, and Olson to safely advance to first. So Reed coming out around to score there. So now a 5-1 game here for the Lopes, still with 2 outs, and now with a runner on first.
Love to see that excitement down there from Olson.
And that will bring Kaylee Holland, who has been walked her last 2 times at bat. So looking for her first hit of the day. And she'll foul that first pitch off back into the netting. So her count will go to 0-1. So Lopes 2 outs with 1 runner on at first. Here in the bottom of the 6th as that ball is into the dirt. But nice covering up there by the catcher for the Bulldogs. So Nicoletti now has a 1-1 count. And that pitch just a little outside for Nicoletti, so her count will move to 2-1.
You can hear the chanting from the Lopes dugout. That's something that I love, how spirited they get.
And that hit by Nicoletti hit nicely, but foul as it goes down the third base side past the bullpen. So her count will even up at 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs with 1 on here for the Lopes. And that ball again in the dirt, so that'll bring a full count here for Holland. And that will be ball number 4. So
another walk for Kaylee Holland. She's been walked every single at bat.
Yeah. So Holland like now been walked 3 times.
Definitely got a good eye out there, though. Got to give her that credit. Looks like things are going to be discussed with the pitching staff for Drake. In a bit of a situation here if you're Drake.
I'm just having a little conversation there with her pitcher.
Looking to see if she's going to work herself out of it or if she'll be done for the evening.
This is Drake's 2nd game of the day, so gotta imagine that their bullpen is a little tired here. And they had that early game, so an 8 a.m. start game.
That's
Had
right.
a little bit of a rest, but not as long as they would have liked, as that game number 2 between Northridge and Utah State ended in 5. So didn't get as long as a break as they probably would have liked to have before this matchup with GCU here today. So that first pitch there to Byfield in for ball number 1. And that will be ball number 2 for Byfield. So Lopes have one runner in scoring position and one runner on first. And that one will be fouled back by Byfield, and the runners will return to their bases. So now her count is 2-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. And that will be just past the glove of the diving first baseman, but it will be bounced foul down into the right field corner. So runners will retreat back to their bases, and Byfield will come back into the batter's box. Her count being even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes, here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. And that ball will get away from the catcher, so the runners will advance. So Lopes now have 2 runners in scoring position.
Lopes really capitalizing on these opportunities as they've needed to do so throughout this whole tournament. Really getting ahead on that wild pitch.
Definitely, that's the second wild pitch that has allowed the Lopes runners to move and advance. And that one will be tipped and fouled back there by Byfield. So Byfield staying alive here, keeping her count remaining at a full 3-2. And that will be swung on, and it will bounce off the glove of the first baseman and gone out of play.
As you take another look here.
Yeah, you see that nice hit right off the glove of the first baseman as she then runs in to get that. But Byfield will be declared safe, though, so that will allow another run to score for the Lopes. So now a 6-1 game with runners on the corners for the Lopes. And the Lopes will have a pinch hitter in Araceli Pascaria. Lopes still have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th with runners on the corners. And that first pitch to Pascaria will be called strike number 1. And Byfield will be off and will be tagged out before she gets to base. Byfield
Coach does not seem too happy with that call.
Does not agree, as she was still standing there on that base. But that will end the 6th inning for the Lopes. So we will come back where the Bulldogs will have their final 3 outs in the top of the 7th, and you'll get more softball right here on GCU TV.
We needed one more member on our roster. Streets of New York is proud to announce Grand Canyon University to our winning team. We are now the official pizza of GCU. Go Lopes.
Across the painted desert to where the mountains touch the sky. This is Sanderson Ford country, where Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford country, built on serving you. Sanderson Ford satisfaction.
And welcome back inside the GCU softball stadium. The Lopes put up 4 runs back in the bottom of the 6th. So now a 6-1 game here for the Lopes. Lopes looking to get their first win on the weekend and stop that 6-game losing streak. And they are just 3 outs away from doing so as Denhart will come back out for the Lopes.
Yeah, and as we move into the 7th, we've seen some great heads-up base running and clutch hitting by the Lopes. So now it's going to come down to pitching and defense to close it out. I mean, the Lopes have a comfortable 6-1 lead, but again, that Drake offense can be dangerous. So looking to see how it's going to unfold here.
Yep, and that first pitch to Ramich is in for ball number 1. And Ramich hitting that one straight to the shortstop. Sorry, second baseman in Fifield. So getting that first out, throwing that ball back to first to Bishop to record out number 1. So now that will bring Macy Johnson to the plate for the Bulldogs, and the first pitch to Johnson is in for strike number 1. So Bulldogs down to their final 2 outs. And that will be strike number 2 there for Johnson.
Looks like we got a little bit of wind going, which could affect these batters.
Yeah, that flag in right field moving in the breeze pretty nicely. Good cloud coverage though, so not too much sun in the eyes of the outfielders there, so that'll be nice. As I say that, the sun starts shining through. But that pitch there to Johnson will be called ball number 1, so her count will be a 1-2 count here with a 1 out in the top of the 7th for the Bulldogs. And that will be ball number 2 there for Johnson. So Holland going out there to talk to Denhart.
Denhart sticking it through this game. Got to give her credit there.
And that one will be hit foul down the third base side there by Johnson. So keeping herself alive here with this 2-2 at bat. And that one hit straight to the first baseman, Lilly Bishop, to record out number 2. So the Bulldogs down to their final out here.
Easy put out there by Lilly Bishop, looking to get one more done here.
And that will bring Libby Ryan to the plate for the Bulldogs. And that ball in for ball number 1, so 1-out count here to Ryan.
Ryan is a dangerous player for Drake, one of the leading hitters, so
that one will be hit straight to Dietrich, who will throw to Lilly Bishop, who will record the final outs. So the Lopes will get their first win on the weekend and snap that 6-game losing streak as the Lopes will beat the Drake University Bulldogs 6-1.
Yeah, Lopes had some really great eyes tonight. Pitching was what really hurt Drake with so many walks, and we saw some smart heads-up base running and some absolute clutch hitting by the Lopes when needed. It really came down to pitching and defense to close it out. I think this was a very big win for GCU. I mean, Coach has to be happy with her team's performance today. A complete game-in win on the mound for Den Hart. Outstanding offensive performance by the Lopes hitters and fairly solid defense. So this is exactly what the ball club needed as we're going to head into these double-header action against Cal State University Northridge coming up here on GCU TV.
Yep, and thanks for tuning into the Purple Classic. The Lopes will be back home March 6th to host the Lopes Classic, and they'll take on UNLV, Montana State, and St. Joseph's. And you can follow the Grand Canyon University us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GCU. We'll have more softball in 30 minutes, and we'll see you then. And always go Lopes.